Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a bit about painting Deathwing. As you can see, I already started with the base, the orange color. I did that with an airbrush since orange is a horrible color and not opaque, and that way it worked out way better. I already painted the parts black and started with the shadowing, and I'm gonna talk you into shadowing a bit. So I'm starting out with the shadows, and the way I'm doing that is with this brush. I'm gonna show you just a bit. Here it's a really small brush, it's a makeup brush. It's better for shadowing because of the softness of the brush. As you can see here, these are way harder and will leave more streaks opposed to the soft one. That's why I'm using such a small soft makeup brush. So let's start. With that brush I'm gonna dip it into the black paint, and I'm using water. That's all there is to it really. So that's with making shadows. You just grab a little bit of black like I'm doing here, and then just a tip of water. Alright, and then we go into the spots where normally shadows would fall. So that's important to know where light falls. That's important also. Deathwing is apparently one of the most oldest dragons in World of Warcraft, so the armor shouldn't look clean at all. It should be beaten up and not clean. So I mean, he's been in a couple of fights, or rather a lot of fights, so it should look that way. If it's too opaque, then just grab a little bit of water, and this is the part where I should tell you that the paint I'm using is water-based. Water-based means that it can be thinned or washed away with water, so it's really easy to use. It's also quite cheap, so it's the best paint you could use for your cosplay subjects. As you can see here, I've got some darker parts. I let them dry betweens and just layer it up until I'm satisfied with the darkness on each spot I wanted to apply shadows or greasiness. Like here's a very dark spot. I layered that up quite well. Okay, so next step, of course I made the entire rocky part on the corset of a breastplate full black, but as you can see here, I started layering some lighter dark gray parts on it, just to make it more realistic and have more depth in it. I think it's an important part in your costume if you really want to make it look realistic, is bring high contrast, and I did that with just mixing black and white paint. Just, well, as I told you, just layering it up. Actually, I feel like Bob Ross here, painting happy little rocks. Rock here, rock there. I'm a bit out of focus right here. I'm sorry. This is my first video and I suck. But yeah, well, everyone starts somewhere, and I guess the same goes for me. So you can already see the depth taking form, with the last one not being painted gray and the rest of them do paint gray. You can see it's quite dry, so I take a bit of water. Well, that's quite a lot of water. Jess, what you doing? Okay, so that's quite a handy tip when it comes to paint. Sometimes it's really opaque and dry, and it doesn't just blend well and leave streaks. So then just grab a little bit of water and put it right on there where you just painted, and it will just merge in right well. It's also handy for when it comes to saving paint. Sometimes, of course, with water it will be less opaque, but you will save an amount of paint, and well, it's not that pricey mostly, but it's still handy. So you can see it taking form here. On to the next. So I'm just gonna continue here, and after this part you can really see the contrast being created with just one layer of a lighter color, and you see those little cracks there. Of course, he's been in a couple of fights, Deathwing, so I want to add some old dried red stains as if that was old blood. Of course, I'm not gonna use real blood, of course, but I am gonna put that there to make it a little more realistic and cool looking, because we gotta be badass in that costume, right? So I'm just gonna continue painting a bit here and there, and just do this for all of the costume from the front and back. You don't want to have an ugly picture on the back with just like grayish in the front and then suddenly black in the back. It rhymes so right, I guess. So the blood part, fun part, well, it's quite easy. I just take a little bit of red, and well, more red compared to the black, and just mix that, and then you get somewhat color like this. And just a small brush, I'm gonna show here, I think. Yep. Yeah, it's of the same makeup brush collection. I don't remember what collection it was. It was quite a cheap one, and I bought it for like 10 years ago, so I don't remember, sorry, where I got it. But you can use any kind of makeup brush. Just go to your local makeup store and get some cheap ones. Those are perfect for the job. So just don't overdo this. I think that will look messy, or just do whatever you like, of course. I mean, cosplay is for fun, so do whatever you like by any means. And in the end I decided, after it dried up a bit darker than I expected, so I went over it again. I already put on the stained parts, but I already went over it again at some parts with another layer of lighter gray, and put on, as you can see here, some other bloody parts here and there. But I have to redo some parts again because I got over it with lighter gray paint. I just used a little bit of white over the already existing mix I made with the black and the white beforehand, when I put on the first gray layer. A little sponge, and to make it look more realistic I kept dabbing that on the still wet paint. Be quick with it because it's water, so it will dry fast, and it gives a texture that looks more like a rock, and since it's a rock in the game we want to achieve that look, don't we? So whenever part is still wet we're gonna dab that in there, and it will look like this. Dab, 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 dab. Apparently I wasn't done dabbing. Oh my god, sorry for that phrase. So we're gonna go in again with the blood, fake blood. Don't try this at home, kids. in case you're watching. And I'm gonna grab some more here and grab some more, as if it was really dripping off. And apparently I wanted more and more. And here I'm gonna grab some gray again and go over the sides so it will like create some more depth, and then again with the sponge dabbing on the sides. And as you can see, it looks as if the red part is deeper. That's because of the lighter grayish sides on each side of the bloody part. So that's the left, and I'm quite pleased with how that looks. So I'm gonna try that again on other parts of the costume, like here on the right there. So I'm gonna take another bit of the red and go in again. You can go quite heavy-handed on the blood. It will dry pretty dark, and again I'm out of focus again. I'm sorry. Yeah, so just go heavy-handed on it, or just a little like lighter, make it a lighter color. I could have done that easily, but I just noticed after it dried, after a couple of hours, that it was barely visible. So I guess I still have to redo that later. So I already did some rocky parts here and there. It's a little bit too light there, I can see it, but here you can see the first two are more gray and the other ones are still kind of dark gray or black. So I'm still gonna continue in doing that, and I hope you learned a lot of it. Thank you for watching.